Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the event Youth Entrepreneurship for a Sustainable Planet. My name is Emanuele Bompan. I'm an environmental journalist currently based in Matera in sunny southern Italy, and I'm the host of this today's event. Can young people be agents of change, and how do they contribute to sustainable development? These are the questions that we are trying to answer today, thanks to CESVI, Punto Sud, Enactus, and of course, all of our guests. But this topic is also on the base of Youth Academy, a 3-day workshop, which involved more than 60 students from different Italian universities. And high-level training able to guide the participants into mutual knowledge and to look in depth at some important topics in order to develop a project with social and environmental impact, project management, communication, and fundraising. The Youth Academy is just one of the steps that will bring these young participants of Enactus to work in teams and present a project during the Enactus national competition on the 17th of June this year. Today is here with us Daniele Di Cristina, the president of Enactus Italia, VP and General Manager EMEA and APAC, the Carlisle Break and Friction, that is gonna tell us why all the students are here in the Youth Academy, what is Enactus, and why this event is so important for you. Daniele Di Cristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Emanuele, for the presentation and for the question, and good morning, everyone. So, your first question. Enactus is a large and positive community of students, academic and business leaders that carries out its mission by bringing university students and faculty advisors together with business leaders, bridging the gap between the academic world and the professional one. This is achieved by encouraging each Enactus University team to develop sustainable, entrepreneurial and social projects aimed at tackling those problems present in the communities in which they operate and sometimes they also live. We have a very long history, more than 45 years globally of Enactus, and in Italy we are now on the 5th year. I strongly believed in the establishment of Enactus 4 years ago, and of Enactus in Italy, and here we are. The students in Enactus have the power to act as change makers and to shape their and our future. We do this with the help of their universities and of the business leaders and companies that invest and believe in Enactus program, which is one of the largest global business and higher experimental and educational platform in the world. Your second question now, Emanuele, why is this academy so crucial for the program? Because the academy perfectly fits this platform by offering the opportunity to all of our teams to be represented by and to develop many skills like leadership, teamwork, project management, financial and communication skills to better themselves, their communities, and our country. It is also the perfect example that Enactus didn't stop its activities and training for our students despite the COVID, and we have, as you said, welcomed over 60 students from all over Italy, making them travel a trip of competencies and collaboration. Now to conclude, welcome again to this important event, and back to you, Emanuele.
Thank you so much, Daniele. I want to now call Lailen Albani, desk officer of CESVI Italia, on the floor to explain, of course, what is CESVI. No, probably not everyone of the people today knows these very important NGOs, but also I would like to ask about the project One Planet for All, which is this academy is part of. Lailen, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Emanuele, and thank you everyone for coming today. So, as you said, CESVI is quite a well-known Italian foundation and non-governmental organization, and it's founded in Bergamo in 1985. And CESVI works in the field of humanitarian aid, covering both emergency and development cooperation, supporting the most vulnerable categories like children, women, elderly, and social outcasts. And in the last 2 years, CESV helped over than 1 million people all around the world, Africa, Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and Europe. Especially in Europe and in Italy, CESV promotes information, awareness raising, and activation campaigns on global issues like climate change, especially among youth. And One Planet for All project is part of the game. One Planet for All is empowering youth, living EU values, and tackling climate change. This is a 3-year program co-funded by the European Union to mobilize young people across Europe by raising awareness on climate change and by, let's say, increasing critical understanding on the interconnection between the northern countries of the world and the so-called global south. And we are here today because we would like to achieve 3 main results: informing, empowering, and mobilizing youth. We would like to increase the critical knowledge across Europe regarding climate change and its impact globally in order to understand why we need to take action immediately, both as individuals and as communities. Another point is empowering. So we would like to inspire and train young people, try to give them tools, strategies, capabilities to inspire them and to give them the possibility to talk with their peers, and also, why not, with decision makers. And the last one is mobilizing. Try to involve them in concrete projects, in concrete action, really to have more sustainable, inclusive, and climate smart communities. So why we are here today, I think to be inspired by these young entrepreneurs we have invited, who have made, I think, sustainability their flagship. I think it doesn't matter whether one creates NGO like CESV or a for-profit company. Being a sustainability conscious entrepreneur is today a crucial, necessary mindset to give a positive contribution to our planet. So finally, I think we need more responsible citizens and greener entrepreneurs.
Absolutely, I fully agree with you. I mean, if we want to really have this transition, this transformation, we need agents of change like the youths, the youth entrepreneur we will see today. And our next speaker is Eleonora Puddu, desk officer of Punto Sud, another partner of this academy. And I'd like to ask you about which activities, which training activities these students will do. And also, if you can share some conclusion about the academy that just has been finished, and also if you can tell us a bit. I know 3 minutes are not long, but if you can just tell us about this another project, No Planet B, which involves also the Municipality of Milano, which is one of our guests here today. Eleonora, floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Emanuele. A challenge in 3 minutes to answer so many questions, but I'm happy to agree with Daniele and Lailen, because really Punto Sud is committed in doing the same. So in contributing to this new process of transition, according, of course, to our skills and the mandate of our organization. As you said, Emanuele, in the presentation, we are an organization specialized in capacity building and working in international cooperation since 1999, a very long story. And capacity building for us is the way really to enhance people's skills. And this was the contribution we tried to make and to provide in the frame of the Youth Academy. So I was personally one of the trainers yesterday, and today I was facilitating the feedback among the groups, a very, very interesting dynamics, a very positive energy. I'm definitely convinced that young people, and included me and Lailen as well, and also you, so can really be the protagonists, the active actors that will drive this process. And this is one of the objectives Punto Sud is running, not only as a partner in the framework of One Planet for All, but also, as you said, in the frame of No Planet B. That is another 3-year program financed by the European Union under the same program One Planet for All that is the DEAR program, Development, Education and Awareness Raising. And mainly Lailen underlined and summarized very well the objectives that also No Planet B has, meaning to push people to be informed and then to get experience to lead to a call to action. Because really we need to understand that each one of us can make the difference, and each one of us is responsible for its own action, but also for the other's action. And just to conclude, to answer the last part of your question about the collaboration with the Municipality of Milan, of course, we tried to work and to insist a little bit in the territory of Milan, where Punto Sud is based. And we worked together with the municipality in the launch of a call for innovation in the past months in order to give an answer to the COVID-19 emergency and to work for a new mobility, a new sustainable way to move people. And the municipality was sustaining us by giving us the free patrocine in order to show people that we are on the same side. To really guide this transition, we need to be together. CSOs, civil society, municipalities, institutions, and of course, citizens. Thanks a lot, Emanuele. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Eleonora. It was very interesting to hear from you. You know, we have been talking a lot, we will be talking a lot about social entrepreneurs and social enterprises. But sometimes not to everyone is clear what these enterprises are, especially these days that the financial world is really keen to invest in social enterprises. There is a lot of interest from the public sector, but also from the private sector, from the financial sector. So we have with us the first keynote speaker of the morning, Professor Lea Cassar from the University of Regensburg, where she teaches economy, empirical economics. And she has been dealing a lot with the concept of social enterprises. And actually, I would really like to start with a very basic question with you, Lea, which is, what are the characteristics of a social enterprise? How can we define an enterprise as a social enterprise? And also, what are the differences with a normal enterprise, a normal business that maybe have some social impact, but is not defined as a social enterprise? Professor Cassar, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation. First of all, it's really a big pleasure for me to be here with you to address this very important topic. And thank you so much, Emanuele, for the question. So actually, I prepared a little slide to help you visualizing also the answer. I hope you can see it. So I would say, so first, let's say that there is no universal definition of a social enterprise, because at least from a legal system, every country has a different legal system and therefore a different legal definition of what a social enterprise may or may not be. However, I think it's important to really identify the main criteria which would say, well, I could classify this as a social enterprise. Now, the first one, and I think most important, obviously, is social impact. A social enterprise is an organization whose main or perhaps even unique goal is to generate social impact, so to improve society's well-being and to address social problems and environmental problems. The second criteria is financial sustainability. Now, ideally, a social enterprise is able to generate its own revenue, and even better if it can generate its own profit, which could be reinvested, at least a part of it, into the company. Now, depending on the fields of operation, it's not always possible to generate revenue. So at least not all of it. And so I would still consider financially sustainable an organization who relies on long-term subsidy from the state, as long as these subsidies is long-term and allows the organization to really make a long-term financial plan. What I do not consider financially sustainable is an organization, a charity who only relies on private donation year by year and cannot really have a long-term vision, a long-term financial plan. Now, the third characteristic that I think is very important is innovation. So the social enterprise takes an innovative approach to address social problems, an entrepreneurial approach to social problems. And by innovation, I don't necessarily mean that the innovation has to be technological, but it has to be a new way to address an old problem.
Professor Cassar, can we ask you for an example?
Yes, actually, I had prepared other slides for this example, but I could jump into right now if you want.
Sorry, I didn't want you to anticipate, but if you can just give a sneak peek of one example.
Well, I could jump in. Okay, let's jump in then right away. Let's think about a social problem, which is hypothermia. So in the developing world, there are more or less 1 million of babies that dies every year because of preventable causes like low body temperature called hypothermia. Now, the problem is that traditional incubators in the West cost about $20,000. So as you can imagine, in the developing world, the hospital in the developing world cannot afford to buy these incubators. Now, how to solve the problem? So this, I'm going to give you some, I'm simplifying, but some standard response that the actors, typical standard actors in the economy would give. What would a government do in this case? Well, let's try to subsidize the production of traditional incubators so that they can be sold at a lower cost to the hospital. Now, what would be an example of charities? Standard example of what charities would do? Well, let's raise donations to buy traditional incubators, and that we can then transfer to the hospitals. What would be the response of a standard business? Well, the business would not really give a response because they cannot make profit from the poor, so they're not interested in addressing this social problem. Now, what was the response of a social enterprise called Embrace, which, by the way, Emanuele, was funded by students, a group of students like most of the audience we are having today? Well, they came up with the idea of creating a low-cost infant warmer, like the one that you can see here in the pictures. It's like a sleeping bag where you can put a little baby in and keep him warm. And now this infant warmer costs about 1% of the price of a traditional incubator. So we are talking about $200. Now, what was the business model of Embrace? So Embrace has a branch, which is the profit branch, who targets those hospitals in the developing world which can still afford to buy such infant warmer. So they sell this still to poor hospital, but they can still afford to buy it. And now for each infant warmer sold to this hospital, the profit branch sent a royalty to the non-profit branch of Embrace, so that the non-profit branch can then send infant warmer for free to the poorest of the poorest hospital, which cannot even afford these $200.
So they're using the profit to subsidize the hospital who can't even afford a low-cost warmer. That's amazing.
And as you can see, I think this example is very powerful because it tells you, look how innovative, how they come up with such a great idea, innovative way of addressing an old problem.
Wow. So can you tell us how much has been revolutionary to startups, these social enterprises, and if you also have other examples to share with us?
Well, I think, Emanuele, that to really appreciate the figure of the social enterprise, you need to think that traditionally, and here I'm simplifying obviously, but traditionally, there've always been a strong sectorial division. You know, on the one hand, there is this sector that I like to call the mission sector, which try to address social problems, try to increase society's well-being. And typically this has been governed by governments, assuming that they are benevolent, and by charities. And now then there is another sector, which is the business sector, which always has been occupied with making money, so maximizing profit, generating wealth, of course, bringing progress. But I mean, I personally think that this sectorial division, an economic system based on the sectorial division, is very inconsistent, and not to say even inefficient. Because, you know, on the one hand, you have this business sector, which yes, generates progress, technology, wealth. But on the other hand, we are all experiencing now that this is coming at the expenses of the environment. I mean, in the huge climate crisis that we are facing, and also of social justice. I mean, the increasing social inequality that we are witnessing nowadays. And therefore, you need the mission sector to try to repair these damages. However, the mission sector doesn't have its own independent financial resources to address this problem. They have to rely on the financial resources generated by the same business that create these problems, for example, through taxation and donation. So I think that the figure of the social enterprise is really revolutionary because it unifies these two sectors. For the first time, the business sector is not only occupied with maximizing profit, but it's applying entrepreneurial ideas, entrepreneurial approach to also address social issues. And it's a revolution from the mission sectors because for the first time, the social enterprise is a figure that can generate its own revenue. It has financial resources to directly address these problems. And it has also the expertise.
Scale up faster. You can even scale it up faster, right?
Exactly. So,
do you have any other example you would like to share with us? Because the previous one was very, very interesting.
Another example that I always like to share is, for example, Ecosia. This is a German social enterprise. So actually, I would encourage all of you who are still using Google search to switch immediately to Ecosia, where basically it's also like a search engine, where for every search that you make, they plant a tree. So they still make the business model is still that they generate revenue through advertisement like Google. However, they use the profit, basically, if I don't remember, but at least 80% of it is reinvested to the company and devoted to plant trees. Right. So, you know, for the consumer, for us, it doesn't cost us anything to use Google or Ecosia. And here the revolution is not technological because the search engine already exists, but it was revolutionary to think about this way of helping the world, of helping the planet. Like every click, one tree for a click.
Very interesting. Can you tell us what's the portrait of the social entrepreneur?
The pathway. Well, I can tell you that. So, because I think it's important to understand. Here we talked about the social enterprise, like as an organization, no? But of course, organizations are made of people. Right. And so like any other organization and institution, it can never be better than the people that makes it up. So I think that behind great social enterprise, there must always be a great leader and a great workforce. And now, what do I mean by great? So here I would like to share again the slides to help you visualize. The first characteristic that I think as entrepreneur, social entrepreneur nowadays should have is intellectual honesty. So I really want to see social entrepreneur to carefully assess the social impact of their project. We cannot afford anymore to just rely on good intention. We need to make sure that this good intention translate into good results. And so I think that every social entrepreneur should have some intellectual honesty to, to assess regularly the impact of his or her programs, and to keep what works, but have the courage to disregard what does not work. The second qualities that I think a social entrepreneur should have, and maybe this will surprise you, Emanuele, but I think it's introspection. Okay. So as a personal introspection.
I'm a good candidate, so.
Really, that's great. So if you don't question yourself all the time, then you cannot be a good social entrepreneur. So as I was saying, as the speakers before me also mentioned, the organization is made of people. Society is made of people. So if you want to change the world, you cannot think of changing society, of changing the world, if you don't change the people in it, if you don't change ourselves. So of course I want to encourage all of us, and especially social entrepreneurs who want to devote their life and their work to change the world, to start questioning themselves. What is driving me? Where do my beliefs come from? Are they biased by media, by my social background? Are they really true? Do they really reflect what's going on? Am I really acting in the interest of society? And I think in the way, for example, I manage my social enterprise, in the way I'm consuming, in the way I'm raising my kids, in the way I'm interacting with my peers. So, and I think we should all ask our question, not, once in life, what I want to do in my life, you question, I want to be a social entrepreneur and that's it. No, I think people should ask themselves this daily. So question yourself as much as you can.
Well,
and
I wish
third,
every business could do that. Many businesses will probably change it in one day if they really ask themselves if what they're doing is right. So what's
but that's, yes, exactly. But I think you're raising this point exactly correct. And this link it to the intellectual honesty. I mean, if you really want to be a social entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you act in the interest of society. Mm-hmm. And so you cannot tell your lies, all the time that you're doing something good, that it's sufficient to just donate a little share of your huge profit and then you're okay with your conscience. Yeah. So
what's the third one?
The third one is imagination. So I think that the new world, before it can be conceived and created, it first has to be imagined. So the day in which we stop imagining, it's the day where, for me, that would be the end. So the end. So the social change has to come first from being able to imagine a better world. And here, I really want to encourage everybody, all the students, everybody who's interested in changing the world, in dreaming big. No matter how cynical society has been right now, no matter whether they're going to tell you you're crazy, remember what seems crazy today may not seem so crazy in 50 or 100 years from now. So please be bold in your imagination and in your dreams.
Oh, that's such a great suggestion to not just entrepreneurs, but I think to everyone. We still have 2 minutes. I want to ask you about the size of this phenomenon. I mean, how widespread is the present in Europe, but also outside the European boundaries of social enterprises, and how much is growing and how fast? 2 minutes.
Okay, well, so again, we have to specify that given that there is no universal definition of social enterprise, it is difficult to tell you exactly how many social enterprises there are. But let's say that in Europe, more or less, we are talking about a 10% registered social enterprise. However, this phenomenon is booming in terms of how much business are giving increasing attention to environmental problem and social problems. And Enactus is a perfect example of such increasing interest. So more and more businesses are investing in corporate social responsibility and are trying to address this social problem. So my hope, and again, I'm dreaming big, is that my hope is that one day you're never going to be able to ask me anymore, what is the percentage of social enterprise in the world? Because every enterprise existing will have always in mind the well-being of society. So entrepreneurial action at the service of the society's and environmental well-being.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Professor Cassar for this interesting presentation about the role and the life of social enterprises. And the next guest, the next keynote speaker is definitely someone who loves to dream big. Is the CRO, which stands for the Chief Resilience Officer of the Municipality of Milano, Piero Pelizzaro. It's also a dear friend of mine, and is a person that really tried to push for a bolder vision for the municipality with all his colleagues. And Milano is a thriving city when it comes to businesses. Even in these dire times, Milano is still able to produce everyday innovative ideas, innovative enterprises. Can you just give us a peek about what's going on in terms of social and environmental enterprises in Milano, and how you also are helping them to thrive and to grow?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks, Emanuele. Milano, it's always been based on a high level of volunteering or community engagement from a bottom-up approach. Milano is also well known as where the population participate actually to the social life, and we have a strong network that is supporting all even the people around the city, the people that are suffering. In this framework, over the last few years, thanks to the work that have done by Deputy Mayor Ms. Cristina Tajani, we have seen a lot of initiatives that the city were enabled as a city administration using structural funds. Recently, we have launched a couple of initiatives as the city crowdfunding or the so-called La Scuola dei Quartieri, where basically we co-funding the creation of a new social business. And the social business has to be developed in the peripheries, in the peri-urban area of the cities, which is the goal. We set the goal, which is the objective of this new association or a new organization. We have fixed some elements. One of that is environmental, how we should also protect the city and our community from the impact of climate change. On the other end, we were looking how every initiative should have a social impact on the terms of being supportive of the new Italians, or the other communities that are try to integrate in the new city that are coming. This is also because the city of Milan, until the 2019, welcome more than 50,000 people every year in the city. So this is also a big requires a lot of support from the city or this population to find a new opportunity, and we try to drive the opportunity for these people, not only looking at the profit, so at the business side, but also how the business could be also supportive for the creation of a more equal and inclusive society. That is our ultimate goal in our everyday work. So the city, it's somehow supporting using structural fund with the funding. On the other end, giving space. So we given open space, co-working, and all the other kind of infrastructures. But we also support in training. So together with the other organization in the city, we also support this new business or the people to be trained, to be ready to be on the market. So we have an educational program, financial program, and infrastructural program for this new social and environmental community. On the other end, let me say that it's another big role is played by the Fondazione Cariplo, together with the city administration and with the association, with a lot of people around here. I see Claudio, for example. We have done a lot of programs. Students and new entrepreneurs in become sustainable, resilient, and circular in terms of their business. So I think there is an environment here that is coupling public, private, and communities all together in making a business, a more sustainable, responsible business in the city, more than the financial, more than fashion and the design.
Cities always have an abundance of empty space that stands unused, and that they might be a great opportunity for new enterprises. How are you working, especially to open up for this type of social enterprises? What's the challenge to really make it possible?
The abundant space in the city, it's one of the biggest issue we have, especially the ground floor, that with the changing of the perspective of a lot of business, they become become a big issue somehow. We've seen a lot of private owners changing from shop to housing on the other end, but on the other end, we also try to, we have introduced some rules in the new master plan of the city adopted in February 2020. So we also give a deadline to people. They say, if you're not going to use this space, we can take it and be given to the communities or to association or to other private developers, because we cannot afford anymore to have abundant space in the city. Once, because we want to, we have a goal of reducing the soil consumption of 4% before 2030. So we have a business that is increasing, we have a population is increasing, so we need to mix the sustainable goal of the city and the demand, the increasing demand of space for business and for inhabitants. And on the other hand, we also, having an empty space in the city, an empty shop, it also creates it's less safer, the city. So it's also, we need to create using this space to make the city more safe for our community in terms. Otherwise, that could become a risk for the people, for women, for kids, for men, for everyone in terms of enjoying the city. And so setting the rules in the PGT, we also acquired some space that was abundant over the years. So it's also investing public money, public budget to make this possible. And as much as possible, we love to, as I said before, to give this space, this empty space, to association around. And this is also thanks to the participatory budget we have with the district, with the Municipality around in the city, that also give us the opportunity to have placeholders somehow and also identify who could be useful. And then let me say that another part is also being really supported by the religion and non-religion association around. I think about Archie, Acri, or other kind of association that are investing to create a social place, like, you know, like for elderly people, so where they could stand over the year.
Let me ask you one thing. The COVID crisis has had a tremendous impact at the social level, and also Milano hasn't been spared by it. And we all know people line up for food, for shelter. A lot of people lost their jobs. So how can social enterprises be helpful in that sense to support the municipality to face those type of new challenges that are arising because of the COVID economic crisis?
Let me say, first of all, following the message of this morning of our Mayor Beppe Sala, the pandemic is not finished. And we are still in the middle of a new wave, the third wave. So let me just share the same message: keep safe, maintain the rules, maintain the distance, because it's essential now to still respect the rules. On the other hand, you say how it could be. Actually, they already did. Since the beginning of the pandemic, we get a great support from the social and responsible business in supporting and delivering food. I think about, I don't know, giving some example. I'm sorry if I quote some and all the others, but that's what comes to my mind. I think about Rob the Mat in the northern part of the city, and they were delivering box to poor people with food. I'm thinking about Longoni, that was creating a new kind of bread that was more longer term in giving that he was supporting us with our Dispositivo Alimentare, so with our food program over the pandemic. But I think also to the other association that were also supporting us, delivering medicine and delivering this box to the people. But what is interesting, that all these kind of emergency measures now is also being transformed in a permanent measures. So we have seen, for example, some of the people were creating this, you know, emergency action for the population. At the end of the pandemic, they were switching and keeping this program even after the first lockdown. Why? Because they said, because you can see that the pandemic is not just when there is the contagious. The pandemic is also after the contagious. It's even more impactful because it impacts on the socioeconomic, on the psychological aspect of the communities. So the social entrepreneurs, they were doing a lot during the emergency, and they are doing a lot because they know better, which is the need of the population, because they are close to people. So I think that their understanding and their view of the community is what we always look, we always ask, we always try to have a strong dialogue with them, because they know better than the others what the population needs, because they are close to people. So I think that being always push us to do better and give us the alerts, is what we require from them. And we need to be always open to support them as much as possible with financial support and the others. But I think that the more important thing is to be there and push us to make it better. That is what we are looking for from the social responsible business.
We have been talking a lot together about the concept of One Health. So I'm trying to solve at the same time environmental, social, and health issue together. It's a key concept today. It's going to be even more in the future, especially with the looming crisis of climate change and biodiversity. The pandemic, as you say, it's still ongoing, and potentially other new health threats that might emerge in the future, the social threats that will be continuing and even grow in the future. So which elements do new entrepreneurs have to look at to try to really embed this concept of One Health in their innovative business proposal?
Well,
it's a very simple question for you.
yeah, thanks. Over the last few weeks, I was thinking about time as a concept. And I think when we think about time as a concept, it's not meaning to look at day growth, but it's meaning how we should better improve the use of our time when we work or when we have a relation, and also how we better planning our time when we move. I'll give an example, a simple example. I mean, over the last few months, a couple of months, I'm trying to live as a pedestrian. So I quit even using public transport. It's completely changed my life because I need to change my time of my life. I need to wake up a bit early. I need to work, but I can start working, and because it's a time of calling, right? Teams, Zoom, or whatever. So and then it's changing my approach to the communities, because you get better to understanding what is the situation on the street. You can get a more responsible consumption, because you can buy by the shop and not the bigger shop because you are walking by. On the other end, you also the concept of time, it's also a matter of redistribute part of the work to the others. So it's also increase the equality. So if we start thinking about time in our business, I think time could improve and reduce the congestion, for example, because more people walking or biking is reducing the congestion on the side. Thinking about time in terms of work is also improving the quality of our life in terms of social, so reducing the psychological aspect. It could reduce violence, domestic violence, and so on, because you are more calm, you have a more calm life, you're supposed to be more quiet somehow. And thinking about time in the process of production, for example, is also improving the quality of using of our natural resources. So we can also impacting the circularity somehow, and as well in the use of the natural resources. So that's something I'm thinking about, is the concept of time. And on the other end, I think that the other concept we should think is a long concept. It is the care, taking care of the planet, taking care of the community, taking care of the public space, taking care of our neighbor. So care and time together could make the two principles we should look to improve the social, the health and sustainable business somehow, and make it more linked to the other.
I want to ask you last things. We still have 2 minutes. If we have to zoom in a little bit in terms of scale, and we have to talk about environmental challenges, which topic you think it's considered the least from social and environmental enterprises, but you think it should be addressed more by new innovative ideas or startups?
Which would be the most? I didn't get Emanuele. Sorry for I didn't get the question.
I mean, if you have to choose an environmental topic, not that developed, right? But it should be a priority. Which one could it be?
I think that the precautionary concept is something that we didn't work a lot. We always work in reacting to climate change. We always think about reacting to a sustainable environmental emergency, but we need to work more on the kind of precautionary measures because, give me an example, it's pretty clear. If we reduce using cars, if you're reducing pollute our air, we will get over the last few months less people dying, because our population in Lombardy region is already exposed to risk related to pollution. So if we work on the precautionary concept in terms of environmental measures, then is where we can avoid the impact of climate change. We can avoid the consumption of natural resources. We always been reacting to something, and we should work more in the precautionary measures. There's also the concept of resilience, and also what was always was our grandmother was always saying, don't do the same mistake that you did last time, and try to be better in terms of life. So I know, I was just reading an article. I think we should not go back to the previous normal of the world. We should find a new normal, and the new normal should be sustainable, resilient, and more secure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Piero. It's always a pleasure with you, Piero Pelizzaro, Chief Resilience Officer of the Municipality of Milan. And this leads to our second part of the morning, which is going to be a roundtable with some of the entrepreneurs, the social entrepreneurs that are actually walking the walk and not just talking the talk. We have with us today Daniele Guadagnolo, co-founder of Change for Planet. Then we have Virginia Castellucci, a startup scouting, analysis and acceleration program manager of the Step Tech Park. And Claudio Avella, which is a research and innovation at Invento Innovation Lab for Social Enterprises. Welcome to every one of you. Maybe we can see all their faces in one. I don't know if it's possible. There they are. Welcome to this roundtable. Every one of you has been very successful in their activity, in their enterprise. And today we're going to share some ideas. We're going to share your stories, of course, but also the challenges that you have been facing throughout your journey. And also what are the opportunities for other young entrepreneurs like yourself. I'd like to have with me, to begin with, Daniele Guadagnolo. As I said, is the co-founder of Change for Planet. And the obvious question is, of course, if you can tell us what is Change for Planet. Daniele, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thanks so much. So yeah, the idea behind Change for Planet was born actually in December 2018 in Katowice, Poland. I mean, Katowice is this really small town in the south of Poland, and it was a mining town. So the United Nations in 2018 decided to hold there the COP24. The COP means basically Conference of Parties, and it is the, let's say, most important event promoted by the United Nations that it is able to address climate change, so the SDG number 13. And during this event,
it actually produced the Paris Agreement, right?
Exactly, yeah. The Paris Agreement was during the COP21, and basically, and also the name Paris Agreement takes the name from the venue, because it was in Paris. So yeah, I attended at this event in Katowice, but at that time I was only covering the event because I was there on behalf of another NGO. So I was there to promote that event on social media and writing essays and similar. And I got really amazed by that event, because I basically didn't know anything about the youth involvement on sustainability and also on climate change, but also into the policies. And after spending one full week there, I realized that the change was possible. See, change for planet, you know the doing, right? So at the end of the week, I was like, okay, I learned a lot, and now I have to do something. And basically, at the end, I came back to Italy with this kind of thoughts, but with not like a real clear mind. And I'm going to show you right now a picture that I think it is really important in order to showcase to you what I did there. See, wait a second. Okay, let me put it the full screen. See, this was basically me alone at COP24, and the moment when I took that picture was like 8 p.m. because it was really crowded there. So I think that this is really emblematic, because I started with an idea just being there, and I was at that time alone. So at the end of the event, I come back to Italy, and I started thinking about how to do, and how to staff and how to implement things there. And after a few months, I got a message from another friend of mine that I met at the COP24, and she told me that there was actually a bunch of people that were organizing the first ERCOI of Italy. ERCOI means local conference of youth on climate change, and it's basically a smaller and more local version of the COP, where while at the COP you have higher officials and higher representatives from NGOs and global states. Doing the ERCOI, you give the power to the people. Like everyone can attend the session, can be part of roundtables, and can actually try to find concrete solution to certain topics. So beginning with that conference, I said, okay, yeah, I think I can definitely do it. And I thought like it was my, let's say, the first chance in order to do something. And I'm going to show you the second picture. So as you can see, this is me, and you got also Roberta in the middle, and Inaya on the left. And that was basically the very beginning of the communication team of the first ERCOI of Italy. So as you can see, I started from one, then we became three. And then month after month, after month, we increased our team. Like the picture is quite recent because for the mass and here about basically that is like 80% of the original core team of the ERCOI 2019, which was held also in Florence. Then we performed that event. It was a really great success. When also I remember that you, Emanuele, were there as well. As I think it was a speaker or something there.
Talking about
yeah, see. And this is my last picture. See, this is like the shifting picture from being alone to being that much people, and we basically revolved around the same idea that we wanted to do something for the climate. We wanted to do something for the sustainability.
So
and
it started to be an enterprise. I mean, when the idea from a group of dedicated youth became a business.
It was straight after the end of the event, because the majority of the organizers thought that we had to do something in our daily life. It was like only one event per year was not enough. So we said, okay, we have to stick together to get more professional, to get more ideas, more involvement also with other NGOs. And we started working together toward a common goal, which was basically the beginning of Change for Planet. I mean, in other words, Change for Planet is a youth-led NGO aimed to raise awareness on sustainability and climate change. And we are based on three pillars, which are basically community, advocacy, and inclusive planning. We stand with those values, and we provide concrete action. So it's not only talking, but we provide monthly cleanups, we provide online events, we address all the SDGs in order to try to find a concrete solution for them. But the key idea behind everything is that you have to be the change that you want to see, and this is why basically I'm here today.
Thank you, Daniele. Stay with us. I wanna move to Virginia Castellucci, because I'm also interested to know more about the STEP Tech Park. I've heard a lot about it, but I would like to hear it from your own words. How does it start, and how this has been? How you created a connection with Enactus?
Okay, thank you, Emanuele, for your question.
Thank you, Virginia.
So STEP actually is a very unique accelerator. We accelerate only green tech startups because we have a very important goal. We want to reduce 5 million tons of CO2 emissions in the next 5 years. This means that the startups we are actually accelerating, they need to demonstrate that they have a potential reduction of CO2. It started in December 2019. So we are pretty young as an accelerator.
Where are you? Where are you based?
I based on last April. So yeah, it's not. I was actually the first employee of STEP. So I feel like an entrepreneur myself. I mean, of course, and I'm an employee, but still being the first employee makes you feeling very the founder of a company. Yeah, we are a Società Benefit, so benefit corporation. And we declared everywhere, also in our website, that we are going to reinvest the 100% of our revenues in the technological park. So we want to, it's like giving back to the green tech ecosystem, Italian green tech ecosystem, what we do. So we want to improve every year. Actually, the connection with Enactus is pretty simple because I'm an alumna Enactus myself. I used to be in an Enactus team. Actually, the first Enactus team in Italy is Enactus Trento. And I felt like these two realities have to be connected. When I arrived in Trento 4 years ago, I was a student. I wanted to challenge myself. And among the many opportunities that the University of Trento offers, actually, I saw in Enactus to be the one. I felt the same when I saw STEP. So those two realities, you know, they were like very the same for me. I felt the same. So I had to connect them. And this is why we launched the GHG challenge.
Mm-hmm. Can you specify a bit what the GHG's challenge? I mean, also, I think it stands for
it's pretty simple, actually. We launched this challenge only, it's restricted to the Enactus students. And of course, they need to propose projects that actually have the same potential. So the potential of reducing CO2 emissions. Yes, this is it. So today it was the deadline. So at the end, 3 Enactus team agreed to the challenge. So we are going to help them in developing their projects.
Nice. Have you already seen the proposal?
Yes, I've spoke to all the 3 teams actually. It's very interesting because some of them started with an idea, and then the idea developed a lot. So so I mean, I'm sorry. So as time passes, the idea developed. But they have a very clear ideas now, I would say. And of course, with our mentors, they will be able to increase, you know, and their ideas and make them better.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit more about what other activities you do with the STEP Tech Park?
Yeah.
Also, if you could tell us about any other startups that
yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. Okay, so the main thing that we do is of course accelerating startups or incubating them. It depends on the maturity of the startup, and this is what we do mostly. So we organize acceleration programs for them, and we activate mentorship for them. We follow them in the development of their products. We actually have a lab. So we have a lab in the technological park, and we help them to develop their own project and services there. And also we try to help them launching the product on the market. So for the matured one, we try to, you know, help them in the commercial strategy. Mm-hmm. But we also do other
example of a company.
Oh yeah, an example of a company. We have this company, it's called Agateia, but the project is called Noi Compensiamo. They make carbon credits with it, which is very, you know, very common topic right now, very hot topic. And it's very interesting because they make those carbon credits by monitoring the good agricultural practices of some farmers. So it's not like having credits by planting trees, but from good agricultural practices. You know that agriculture is actually a very polluting sector.
Yeah, it's also responsible for a good 16%, 14-16% of all the greenhouse gas emissions. Well, thank you so much, Virginia. Stay with us. We're gonna come back to you later. The next entrepreneur we have with us is Claudia Vella from Invento, so can you tell us a bit about the Innovation Lab as a social enterprise? And also, I think you're part of the B Corp school, so if you could tell us a bit more about that.
Yes. So Invento Innovation Lab is a social company that was founded in 2014, and that mainly focuses business on education about environmental issues, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. And actually, the B Corp school, we are a B Corp company. So the B Corps are companies that measure their impacts and that have an impact, a positive impact that is higher than its negative impact on environment and on the people. So we teach this kind of approach to entrepreneurship to students from schools. So we work with students in schools, and we guide them, we lead them to design and create their own B Corp startups. And so since 2017, we have worked with some thousands of students. Actually, in the 2018, we worked with 500 students, and this year we are working with 1,200 students at the moment.
Which type of students are we talking about? It's a high school, university, postgrad?
Yes, actually, in the B Corp school program, we work with high school students, but as an Invento Lab works with students from all the ages. So from students in primary schools and until the students from universities. So we work with every kind of students, but B Corp school is focused on students from high school. The interesting thing about B Corp school is that we put together students and entrepreneurs and professionals from the B Corp movement. So people from the B Corp movement as entrepreneurs or professionals adopt the classes and go and lead the classes actually to in a 6-step process to in order to design and create these startups. And most of these startups then arrive to the phase of selling and prototyping their products and their services, and in more or less 5 months, from January to May. The other thing that is about the B Corp school is that it is it has a digital core. We have an e-learning platform that we use, and that can make us scale up and our project, the B Corp school program, in many schools all over Italy. Actually, thanks to the platform, last year we could, despite the pandemic, we could go on with the program, and also we made a disposal, we made available our some of our programs, such as B Corp School and other programs, for teachers all over Italy. And we made a protocol of intent with the Ministry of Education in order to make available all these materials, the training material of the program.
So, what are the challenges that you face to set up this project?
You mean the challenges that we face as Invento Lab, or the challenges that we
as Invento Lab also to set up this project, or to set up your social enterprise?
Okay. Well, the main challenge is to involve the entrepreneurs to get involved in these programs, in this educational program. Actually, the B Corp School is funded by the B Corps themselves that adopted the classes and adopted the schools. So this is our challenge, is to put together these two worlds: the world of education and the world of the entrepreneurs and the companies and the B Corp companies. And actually, this challenge has been well. Actually, the idea of B Corp School was born during a B Corp summit in 2017 in Portugal. So our CEO, that is Giulia De Tomati, proposed the idea of using the knowledge of the B Corp entrepreneurs in order to train the students. And this idea was actually, well, it was founded as a good idea from the B Corp community. So then the challenge was actually to go from this idea to actually make it true. And actually now we have more and more companies and entrepreneurs and professionals that are involved not only in this program, but also in other programs, as more and more people and entrepreneurs think that the education is a very important and is a crucial sector in which they have to invest in order to make a good impact on the people, on the environment, and the society, and on the community.
Thank you so much to Claudio. I want to go back to Daniele Guadagnolo. Change for Planet seems to be at an early stage. Am I wrong, right? So I believe right now you're setting up the whole team and you are trying to find the finances. Can you tell us a bit about this process? Because I believe that all the young entrepreneurs that are with us today are really, really curious to see what type of action actually are you taking to try to, shape up your team, find people that can help you with, legal settings, register the company, finding finance, which is always a key for every business activities, or set up your business model. It's time to, trying to scale it up, right? So how are you dealing with the process, and you and your team?
Okay, I have to say that at the moment it is really, really complicated, because with the pandemics and all the things that are going on in the world right now, it's very, very hard to find finance, but also to find the right people, because you can set up the Zoom meeting, so you can also, we also try to put online advertising like on LinkedIn, to find certain people with a certain background in order to be selected for a certain role. But online, everything is a bit more, let's say, cold. So we are kind of struggling right now with that one. But the idea behind Change for Planet is to be as much inclusive as possible. So we are trying to do our best in order to provide concrete action. And for example, at the moment, we registered we officially registered the NGO as APS. The 31, the last day of August, so it was like quite new and everything, and we spent days and nights in order to write all the papers, in order to get all the stamps, because also the bureaucracy here in Italy is quite complicated. It is quite long. But my advice for you, but also for all the people that are here today, is that if you have a clear goal in your mind, never let you down because there is a pandemic, because your friends told you that you're not skilled enough or something. If you believe in something, you will be able to do incredible things. And it is what I'm trying to do here with all the people that are into change for climate. Because another thing that I think it is really important and that I want to share with everyone here is that doing everything alone is very, very complicated. In fact, I showed you the picture of the COP24 when I was alone. I was not able to do basically anything. And then at the end, when I was with many people in there, and we had been able to provide concrete things only when we set up the team. And also at the moment, the team is still going because there is a incredible, let's say, ways of interest in what we do and what are our goals and similar. And I'm really proud of it, but I wanted to say that I will not be here if it was not for the people that helped me and Roberta, which is the president, but there is Irene, which is the vice president, but also there is like many other people like Tommaso and so on. So I just want to say that if you want to do something, just believe in your ideas and try to find as many people as possible in order to follow your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely, Daniele. Well, also climate change is definitely a key topic to tackle today. So I truly believe that all these activities, all these social and environmental enterprises that are working on cutting down carbon and helping communities to adapt have absolutely a key goal today for innovating our economy, to innovate our society. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Virginia, you're part of an acceleration program, and I've been working for an incubator, for a clean tech incubator actually in Rovereto.
Which one?
Progetto Manifattura. I worked in a long time ago as a communication manager to help small startups to communicate themselves. Yeah. And I know they're facing many obstacles, and they, when you are setting up your company, you have to do a lot of things, as Daniele was telling us to do. And you need your team, you need proper consultants. So what are the suggestions of an expert, an acceleration expert like yourself, for the ones who are setting up their own social enterprises? What are the key steps, in your opinion, from all the experience you got with all these startups and new companies that came at the Step Tech Park?
Okay, this is actually a very tough question. So some suggestions. A very basic one, first of all, validate the market. Most of the people, especially the ones that are a very early stage, that they haven't validated the market properly yet. And this is actually key, because if you don't validate the market, then you won't have trust by accelerator incubators, but also investors. So if you're looking for money, it's actually very, very key to validate the market. And this includes competitor, not just direct competitors, but also indirect competitors. This is something that we usually, it's like some of them don't understand how important this is. So this is the first thing. What else? Of course, looking at the problems, because if you look at the problems, then you won't have to, it will be easy to validate the market, because if you find a problem to solve, it means that there are some people that are probably willing to buy the product or the service your offering, because you are solving their problem. And this is actually very key also for the early stage. For the others, let's say for the more mature one, and also for the very technical one, because what I see usually it's very technical teams, because of course we are a green tech accelerator, and they focus a lot on the technology, which is of course very important, but they lack on the business side. So there are big O's on this side. And this
also,
is
I think
actually
sometimes they lack marketing and communication skills, right?
Also, they're most of the time they don't know how to, tell the story which is behind the product, and this is key because you need to convince someone. You need to, sell your idea to the investor, and it's key to tell it in the right way. So tell a story. So yes, I think they need to find the other competencies they don't have. So build a very technical team. Of course, it's good sometimes, but you're lacking something else.
A last question for yourself.
Yeah.
Do accelerator, an academy and program like this one can really make a difference? I mean, sometimes people say, well, I can just do my own company. How relevant is to be part of activities like this one, of getting in touch with experts like yourself and creating a communities of entrepreneurs who share the same values and the same idea, and also share problems and try to solve them together?
Okay. I think it's very important, actually. And what I'm seeing right now is that a lot of founders don't feel it, don't understand how important this is. This is because maybe the acceleration in Italy is not done in the very right way. This is why we are trying very hard to offer what they are willing to, buy, let's say, as startups, what they really need. And what we do is a very personalized acceleration program, because they don't need the same things. Every single company is different and they have different necessity. So in this sense, if you have a very custom-based program, of course you need it, because it will help you a lot. It will accelerate your path to the success and the launch to the market. I think it's very important. Just to add a little thing, being with some others make you feel stronger, and this is what I see every single day.
Wow, thank you so much. I want to call with me Daniele Di Cristina, because time is running fast and we have been talking for more than an hour right now, and I've been amazed by all these ideas that has been put forward today, and I would like to hear your thoughts. I mean, we are closing off this today's session. I want to thank, of course, Daniele, Claudio, and Virginia for this part of the events. But Daniele, I wanna hear your thoughts about today's events and your closing remarks. Thank you so much, Daniele. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Emanuele. So first of all, I think I want to thank everyone for this beautiful panel. I think we all know that we have had recent huge challenges we are facing today. Shows us that there has never been a better time to invest in fresh talents. And actually, I think today with Virginia, Daniele, and Claudio, we have seen that we have an evidence that our young generation is giving us hope for the future. I am a firm believer that university students are not just the lifeblood of any business, but they are also crucial to company environment growth, creatively and also financially. We must remind to ourselves that every accomplishment that young talents, our young talents, could achieve is added to the world's accomplishment. Every individual success benefits society, and don't be surprised if the further result is to feel in a position to give rather than take. My challenge to each of you, and of course also to myself, is to do all that we can do to make these young students to reach their full potential, engaging then the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders to use innovation and business principle to improve the world. The future is definitely in our hands, so let's make the most of it. We are proud to look all together at the new generation as a builder of the future of the world. And I would like to thank all of the students who have participated to this amazing Youth Academy, but also my personal thanks goes to CESVI and Punto Sud, our partners in this project who made this event possible. Thanks to all of the speakers who have shared their experience and knowledge with us this morning. In particular, I would like to take one of the sentence from Professor Lea Cassar and give it to the students and to the entrepreneur and young generation. So be bold in your imagination and dream. And I would add also, don't stop chasing your own dreams. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. And to conclude, I just want to invite you all to participate to the Enactus national competition. You already mentioned, Emanuele, is June the 17th. It will be the final phase where all university teams compete against each other in front of a panel of judges coming from the business world, and not only to celebrate during this occasion their achievements throughout the academic year, but also to win the honor of representing Italy at the worldwide, Enactus competition, the World Cup, which will be held in September. So again, thank you all, and goodbye.
Thank you so much, Daniele Di Cristina. A big round of applause to everyone. I know it's not the same feel as clapping all together, but soon we'll be again together in person. I want to thank really everyone for this amazing morning, and my only duty now is to wish you a great weekend. Bye.